to English with Lucy. Today we are going to talk about self-introduction, the answer to that dreaded question, tell me about yourself. Now, to some of you, this topic may seem very basic, but learning to introduce yourself properly is incredibly important. You might need to introduce yourself without any forewarning, so you need to be prepared. You may need to introduce yourself in your English class or in a job interview. You might need to introduce yourself at a new job or at a new hobby or leisure activity. You may even need to introduce yourself at a big event or convention in front of thousands of people. I feel very nervous and anxious when I have to introduce myself to large groups of people, and English is my first language. For learners of English, for my students, this is incredibly intimidating. In order to successfully introduce yourself, you must have your self-introduction pre-written and learnt. You have to be prepared. In this video, I am going to guide you through this process. At the end of this lesson, you will have a complete self-introduction that is ready to use and ready for you to learn off by heart. I encourage you to share your introductions in the comment section down below so that the community and I may assist you and correct you. So let's start with the basics of a self-introduction. The very first thing that you'll need to say when introducing yourself is a greeting. Now, you can have formal greetings or you can have informal greetings. It depends where you are, the situation you are in. Let's start with formal greetings. Obviously, hello. Hello can be both formal and informal, but it's fine to use it in a formal situation. You also have good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Make sure you pay particular attention to what time of day it is. I have said good morning in the evening and good evening in the morning before. One thing to note is the use of good day. In British English, good day is considered very old-fashioned, very formal. It's not commonly used. However, it is very common in Australian English. They kind of shorten it down to g'day. G'day. And I would say that g'day, I wonder what Emma from English will think of me saying g'day. Will she approve? I'll ask her. But g'day is more informal, but this again is if you're in Australia. It's just something I've noticed people using in my comment section, good day. I can see why you would use it. It appears to be a greeting that is suitable for all hours of the day, when in reality, in British English, it's just a very old-fashioned saying. Also note that good night is normally a send-off, an equivalent for goodbye. You say it when you are leaving instead of when you are greeting someone. If you're introducing yourself in the nighttime, you would say good evening. Now let's talk about informal greetings. It's really important for you to find one that you feel comfortable with. There are lots of informal greetings like hey, what's up, hi, hiya, yo. There's even what's good, which is quite an American one. Honestly, if I said yo when I was introducing myself in an English class or in a less formal situation, I would feel really stupid because it doesn't suit me. My particular region doesn't use yo, so it feels a bit forced. I really admire people who can just stand up and say, yo, what's good? But it's not going to happen for me. So make sure you pick one that you feel really comfortable saying. Next, of course, we have your name. Now, there are many ways of introducing your name. The very basic ones like I'm or I am, I'm Lucy, I am Lucy. Or if you're introducing yourself in a situation where the majority of the audience cannot see you, for example, on the telephone, no one can really see you when you're speaking on the telephone. You can say my name is or my name's with the apostrophe S, the contracted form. Or if you're in a very large auditorium or convention centre, then you might want to use this is. This is Lucy. On the telephone, I would normally say, hi, this is Lucy speaking, or this is Lucy. Next, let's talk about location, where you're from and where you're living. There are many variations of this. I'm going to start with the most basic and move on to slightly more complicated ways of describing your geographical location. Firstly, we have I'm from and then the place name. I'm from Bedfordshire. We also have I'm and then the nationality adjective. I'm British. I'm English. If you are from somewhere that is quite far from the place where you're introducing yourself, you can say I come from and then you can name that place. Come from implies a little bit more of a journey. If you want to say where you grew up, you can say, I was born and raised in place name. I was born and raised in England. If you were born in one place but grew up in a different place, you can say, I was born in France but raised in Sweden. If you want to say that you are from one place but are now living in another place, there are various options. You can say, I grew up in LA but now live in New York. I'm originally from Edinburgh but I'm now based in London. If you want to say how long you have lived in a certain place, you can say, I've been living in London for 3 years. Or, I've spent the past few years in Paris. Now, those are the basics. Let's talk about some other options that you can add on to your self-introduction. A very important option is your position and your company. For example, I work at Google in the marketing department. You can say I work at or I work for. You would not say I work in and then a company name. It's at